Hello everyone, and welcome to this preview video of the upcoming Master Flexibility Trainer course. If you were one of the people who registered your interest early and you were sent the sneak peek of the video as a reward, you don't need to watch this because it's essentially the same thing, but of course feel free to watch it again if you want to. So we're going to take a look at the core competencies and skills that will be developed during the course, and then we'll look at how those competencies and skills separate a Master Flexibility Trainer from most of what you see when it comes to flexibility training in the health and fitness industry. My professional career for more than 22 years now has been to teach people how to become more flexible and also to teach other coaches how to make their clients more flexible. There isn't anything in the industry which I haven't already seen and done myself, and something which has been consistent throughout my career is how little regard most of the industry gives to flexibility. There are, I would say, a handful of people in a few pockets of the industry who are doing it right, but the majority treat it as an afterthought, as a lower tier motor ability, and they place much more importance on qualities like strength, endurance, and speed. It's always been that way, but it's actually worse now than it's ever been. We have flawed papers being published which claim flexibility is not an important component of health and fitness, or that flexibility is just a person's passive range of motion. But what few people realize is just how fundamental flexibility is to human movement, and especially to athletic training, in which the intention is to develop other attributes like strength and speed to a high level. You see, flexibility is the ability for your joints to change position. That's the literal meaning of range of motion. And it's congruent with the dictionary definition, which is to change to adapt to different circumstances. So flexibility is your ability to get into whatever positions you want to get into. And it's possible to display flexibility without developing strength, speed, endurance, or any of the other motor abilities, but you can only develop the other motor abilities in the ranges of motion that you can display. So flexibility precedes all of the other motor abilities, and it actually dictates to what degree you can develop them. And flexibility is certainly not just a passive quality, or else we wouldn't have dynamic flexibility. So in my opinion, anyone who says flexibility is not important or that it's only a passive quality doesn't know enough about the subject, and they certainly don't know the science well. Now, I'm not blaming those people for having those beliefs. Their lack of knowledge is simply a reflection of the education they received on various training courses and university degree programs, and those courses and programs are themselves fundamentally flawed when it comes to teaching flexibility properly. And that's why I've developed this course, because it will fill the gargantuan gap that exists in the health and fitness industry when it comes to flexibility education. So by enrolling on this course, you'll not only become a world-class flexibility coach, but you'll actually shape the future of the industry. So let's take a look at the 12 core competencies of a Master Flexibility Trainer. Okay, the first core competency is having a fundamental knowledge of structural kinesiology. And this is often just called anatomy and physiology, in which you learn about the names of different structures, where they connect to each other, what they do, and what particular nerves are innervated by, and etc. And this course still teaches relevant structure and function of the human body, but it's done so through the lens of movement. So put simply, you'll learn how the body's put together, but then you'll learn how that structure contributes to movement. And this is where the name structural kinesiology comes from, because kinesiology is the study of movement. And particular attention will be paid to the joints and how they work, both in isolation and in unison with other joints, and where that all fits into the bigger picture of movement. Because having a better understanding of the structure of the human body is the first step in addressing a client's pain and movement related problems, because knowing which structure might be causing or be involved with a particular issue helps with the development of viable solutions to reduce pain and improve movement. Now, obviously structure isn't always relevant to pain or movement impairments, but it does play a very significant role in many issues, and it's one which can't be overlooked. All right, the second core competency is having a good understanding of neurophysiology. The goal here isn't to develop a level of knowledge on par with a neurosurgeon or a neuroscientist, but you will learn how the central and peripheral nervous system play an integral role in becoming flexible, becoming stronger, or just becoming better at whatever aspect of movement you or your client is seeking to improve. So you'll know what the nervous system is, you'll know what it does, and you'll know how it both influences and responds to training inputs. Okay, the third core competency is having a good working knowledge of biomechanics. This course is based on a physics-first approach to flexibility training, and indeed, I was one of the very first people in the industry to advocate looking at flexibility through the lens of physics. And the reason for this is because the laws of physics govern everything we can do with our bodies and everything that can happen to our bodies. And biomechanics is a branch of physics, so it's quite important to develop an understanding of the key concepts of this subject. And biomechanics is simply the study of how different forces affect the motion of objects, and those objects do include our bodies. And if you've done even just some cursory reading into biomechanics, then you'll know that it involves a significant amount of mathematics, but this course largely bypasses the mathematical components of biomechanics because equations are largely irrelevant when it comes to practical training in the gym. Of course, you will develop a good appreciation of how mathematical formulas describe the interaction of forces and objects, but you won't be expected to solve any convoluted algebraic equations. The majority of this competency will focus on the qualitative analysis of movement, which means judging the quality of movement primarily by observation rather than by using numbers. There will be some quantitative analysis, such as using different methods for measuring range of motion, but everything that you'll learn will have practical application in your role as a flexibility trainer. Biomechanics will form a thread that runs through the entirety of the course because this is the first and currently the only training program in the world which teaches flexibility as an integral role of biomechanics, as an integral part of biomechanics, which is called the biomechanical model of flexibility. So this course really is the first of its kind. Okay, so having a good understanding of motor control is the fourth core competency of this course, and motor just means causing or having some involvement with movement. For example, motor neurons are the nerves which permit you to contract your muscles and move your body. And this subject is divided into two parts. First is motor learning, which is the process whereby we learn how to produce movement, and it starts at birth and continues all the way through our lives until death. And the second part is motor control, which is the process whereby we control the movements which we've already learned. And motor control plays an important role in flexibility training because more flexibility means access to greater ranges of motion in the joints, and then we have to learn how to control those new ranges of motion so that our movements are safer and more efficient. Okay, the fifth core competency is sport and exercise physiology. And this is the module which will teach you how to select the best type of stretching for your client, how to program the correct sequence of exercises, how to schedule workouts in the short and long term, because most coaches don't know how to properly periodize flexibility training. You'll know how to give advice on things like nutrition to enhance the training that they're doing in the gym, and you'll know how to adapt exercises to the needs of your client. So psychology is the sixth core competency, and this module will explore the fundamental relationship between the emotional centers of the brain and physical flexibility. And many times in your career as a flexibility coach, you're going to encounter clients who are not progressing physically, and the root cause is actually in their mind rather than in the gym. So this course will help you to better understand how emotional well-being affects flexibility, and you'll be able to give appropriate advice to your clients when they're struggling with mental and emotional barriers. And this module also emphasizes the importance of knowing when to refer out to other healthcare practitioners who might be in a better position to support your client, for example, a clinical psychologist or a licensed mental health worker. And this understanding of emotional psychology, which we also call effective neuroscience, is yet another facet of this course which will set you apart from the industry. And you'll also be connected to a network of very experienced and very skilled mental health and psychology practitioners who will support you in this area for those times when you think it's warranted. And support is something which you will get not just during your time on the course, but for your entire career as a master flexibility trainer. This isn't just a course that gets you to sign up and then leaves you on your own without a clue as what you're supposed to do next. I want to see you succeed and excel in your career, and I'll do everything I can to make that happen. The seventh core competency is having an understanding of common neuromusculoskeletal injuries, including mechanisms of injury, which is a subject called pathomechanics. So the letters NMSK here just mean neuromusculoskeletal. The word pathomechanics, it's derived from the word pathos, meaning suffering, and mechanics, meaning motion caused by force. So pathomechanics is therefore the study of how injuries are caused by force, and it should start becoming apparent now that force causes all movement and injury in the body, which is why there's such an emphasis on looking at these things through the lens of physics. The key to reducing the risk of injury is by increasing a person's ability to balance all of the forces which are being imposed upon their body. You see, flexibility training isn't just about making a person bendy. It's about equipping them with the ability to put their various body parts in the positions they need to put them in, and then getting them to exert however much force they need to exert so that they can generate, absorb, and dissipate those external forces which are acting on the body. Now, injuries are not always avoidable, but this course will teach you how to effectively work around injury so that if your client does have any neuromusculoskeletal issues, then their training and progress won't be significantly impacted. All right, the eighth core competency is having a fundamental understanding of how the body produces pain, how pain affects movement, and what things you need to take into account so that you can keep your client active and training even though they might be in pain. And this module will focus on how to educate and reassure your clients, because education and reassurance form a large part of helping people get out of pain. And you'll be shown a variety of soft tissue therapy techniques, but you'll be shown how to instruct your clients to perform these on themselves, because hands-on techniques require hands-on training, and this course is all done remotely because we're currently dealing with COVID-19. But getting clients to perform treatments on themselves is actually very effective for getting them out of pain quicker, because they develop self-reliance and resilience rather than becoming dependent on a manual therapist's touch. And the current model of healthcare and rehabilitation strongly revolves around a model whereby people in pain are not moving beyond temporary pain relief because they're getting help from practitioners who are using only passive movements. And so reductions in pain are only ever going to be acute and short-lived. Now, understand that I'm not saying passive interventions have no utility or that they have no place in rehabilitation, but we need to recognize their inherent limitations. So this course will show you how to teach passive interventions that the client can do in their own time at home, so that the time they spend with you in the gym is spent moving and doing things which will actually get them out of pain in the long term. And I'm in a good position to teach this subject because I live with a condition called CRPS, or complex regional pain syndrome, which is actually the most painful condition known to medicine. So I have an excellent first-hand knowledge of doing flexibility training and developing flexibility while dealing with intense chronic pain. Okay, the ninth core competency is all about examination and assessment, and this is where you're going to learn how to do effective and efficient consultations. So you're going to get the information that you need and get it in the shortest time possible. And you'll also learn how to recognize important warning signs that you have to take into consideration when you're writing your client's training program, and when you might actually have to refer out to another practitioner. You'll also learn how to differentiate between possible diagnoses. For example, say you have a client with shoulder pain, you'll have a better idea if their pain is more likely caused by muscular weakness or a nerve compression. So you'll be intelligently assessing at all times, and you'll never be left wondering what you're supposed to do next. Okay, so coaching forms the 10th core competency, and this is where you learn how to effectively and efficiently transmit your knowledge to your clients so that they make rapid progress towards their main goals. Something which I see a lot in the industry is when trainers just give their clients a few exercises and they adapt them a little bit, which is of course important, but coaching is it's much more than just exercise selection and adaptation. It's about being able to develop buy-in and trust with your client and to ask the right questions in the right way, in the right order and at the right time so that you actually help the client come up with their own answers. Coaching is also about supporting the client through their flexibility training journey, because they're not just paying for an exercise program, they're paying for you to guide them on that journey. And I want you to leave this course being an amazing coach, not only in how you serve your clients, but also in the opportunities and rewards that you experience for yourself, because you'll be doing such an incredible job. Again, you know, there are so many courses in this industry which show you what exercises to do. They give you a little bit of the science and then they send you on your way. And I often hear from people who attend these courses that they're left feeling confused, frustrated, and unable to apply what they've learned, unless of course they sign up for the same course a few more times, which they shouldn't have to do if the course was taught well. So my job is to prepare you to succeed so that when you finish the course, you excel in the industry and you really love what you're doing. Now notice that I said finish, not leave, because even after you graduate from the course, you're still part of the wider flexibility research community, and you can keep coming back to the material as many times as you want, even when it evolves and changes, and you can ask as many questions as you want. I've been doing this job professionally for more than 2 decades. I'm not slowing down because I love teaching flexibility. It's a truly rewarding profession, and it's one that I want you to fall in love with too. All right, scientific literacy is the 11th core competency. And all the way through the course, you will come to know many of the conventions of clinical research, and there's very good reasons for doing that. So I'll show you how to locate, access, understand, and communicate research so that you always stay at the very front of the learning curve. You will be able to answer any questions that you get from your clients or potential clients, which will add legitimacy and authority to your content when you post on social media. And importantly, you'll also help to fight the tide of misinformation which is spreading through the industry and which is leaving the public confused, frustrated, and very angry. And this module will basically teach you how to weaponize science, so you'll be able to effectively defend your position if you've got some troll calling you out on social media because they don't understand flexibility or science. You see, I've successfully challenged some of the largest social media accounts because even though they have tens or even hundreds of thousands of followers and they might have a blue tick, they don't know the subject or the science behind it as well as I do. And they're putting out bad information either because they're creating it or they're simply regurgitating something they heard. And I'm going to teach you how to join me and stand up against the bullshit. Okay, we're almost there. So the 12th and last core competency is being able to run a successful coaching business. So my goal when you complete this course is to see you go out into the world and make more people flexible, make more people move better, and free more people from pain. And I also want to see you enjoy financial success from your efforts because you're going to be doing incredible work and it's only right that you get rewarded for it. Now, being a coach is hard, but it doesn't nearly need to be as hard as some people make it for themselves because they don't have a working business model. So I'll show you how to implement the business model that I've used for more than 2 decades and which has given me amazing opportunities to teach this stuff all around the world. Now, understand that this doesn't mean selling your soul in pursuit of profit. This isn't the Wolf of Wall Street. Rather, it's about being authentic and bringing real value to your clients. You know, people who are in pain and who have trusted you to help them. You will literally be changing people's lives for the better. And I want this course to change your life for the better so that you don't just survive, but you thrive. Okay, so that's it for the 12 core competencies. If you have any questions about any of them, send me an email to dan@flexibilityresearch.com, and a link to that email address will be included in the description box. You can also click the email icon on my Instagram bio. My Instagram account is at flexibility.research, and you can also shoot me a DM. If you want to pause the video to read what's on the screen, do that now. Okay, so the first paragraph describes a typical personal trainer who knows a handful of exercises to get you a bit flexible and a bit strong, but they consider flexibility and strength to be separate entities, and they don't offer much which makes them stand out from the crowd. Now, please understand, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with personal trainers. There are some very, very good ones out there, and there are also some very good flexibility coaching programs available, but none of them cover the full breadth of flexibility like this course does. And upon completion of this course, you'll know how to take the parts of being a strength coach, a biophysicist, a neuroscientist, and so on, which are relevant to flexibility, and you'll know how to apply them in order to produce a coaching experience that your clients will never have experienced before. Nothing like this has ever existed in the industry. I've been doing this 22 years, and there's a reason I've been at the top of the game for so long, why I've made this my full-time career and been able to teach athletes, international level martial artists, dancers, military personnel, postgraduate students, and so on. And I want you to have that too. The course is the gateway to you becoming an industry leader and to become the person that other professionals in the industry turn to for advice on flexibility training. You will shape the future of flexibility education. So now we're just going to quickly look at the skills that you'll develop upon completion of the course. Okay, first of all, you're going to develop a deep understanding of the different types of flexibility, when to use them, and how to develop them safely and quickly. A theme which runs all the way through this course is effectiveness and efficiency of training, so you know what works the best and what works the quickest. Okay, you'll be able to explain what happens to the body during training and why people are either becoming flexible or not becoming flexible based upon the training inputs that they're using in the gym. And you'll know how to utilize the qualitative study of human movement, which I talked about, to observe, analyze, and change the training inputs in order to optimize the movement abilities of your clients. And you'll know which exercises are the most effective for your clients, how to adapt those exercises based upon how your client reacts to them. So you'll know how to progress them when they become easy, or regress them if they're too difficult to start with. You will know how to use effective education and provide reassurance if or when your clients are in pain, or if they sign up to your coaching services and they have a pre-existing injury, or if they're simply struggling to form healthy habits that are conducive to effective and efficient flexibility training, because a large part of being a coach or a trainer is about helping your client to set healthy habits for the rest of their life. Okay, you'll know how to conduct effective consultations, and during those consultations you'll know how to ask questions which will get more useful information from them during the history taking. You'll know how to examine and assess movement patterns and the capacities of individual joints, and then you'll know how to put all of that data together and use it to intelligently inform the training process. So, you know, you'll always be assessing, you'll never have to guess ever again. Okay, you'll know how to transmit relevant information to your clients in ways which match their preferred learning style. You'll know how to support your clients in understanding the how, why, the what, the when of the training process. You're not simply going to just give them a list of exercises and then leave them to their own devices. Instead, you'll know how to give them a unique coaching experience which will see them achieve their desired goals in the least amount of time possible. All right. You're going to know where to find research that interests you. You'll know how to access it. You'll know how to read it and interpret it. Most importantly, you're going to know how to apply that to your actual coaching practice. And you'll also know how to intelligently defend your position based on the science. Should there be someone who wants to question why you do things a certain way, or they even attempt to undermine you by claiming that what you're doing is not scientific, because you're going to become one of the best flexibility coaches in the world upon graduation from this course. That's an absolute given. But unfortunately, by becoming one of the best flexibility coaches in the world, you are going to experience people trying to dismiss what you do and what you say. But when what you do and what you say is led by the best available data, you literally become unstoppable, and I can testify to that personally. All right, and finally, you're going to know how to use strategies that will get you more clients, will allow you to charge a fair fee for your services, and actually make a very good living while doing good, honest work. And again, you know that you're never ever going to be alone in this process. I'm always going to be there to support you, and you'll not just have my support, you'll have the support of your fellow graduates, other trainees who are going through the process, and you're not just signing up for another training course, right? You're joining a community that's going to support you for the rest of your career and for the rest of your life if you decide in the future you want to do something else. But I think once you start getting results, you'll be wanting to do this job for the rest of your life. Okay, so these are the gritty details of the course. The first intake starts on Sunday the 27th of September, and the course lasts for 16 weeks. And lessons will be delivered in video format lasting around an hour and a half per week. Now, there's also the opportunity to participate in a live Q&A support session once a week, which will last around about an hour. And in that session, you can ask me questions. And if you can't attend the Q&A, you'll also be able to send your questions to me by email, which I'll respond to personally. And also the Q&A support sessions will be recorded and saved for you to watch back whenever you want. There will be an assignment each week, and you'll need to complete all 16 assignments to graduate from the course. The course is designed so that you can pass it by the end of the 16 weeks with a bit of application and effort. And the sooner you graduate, the sooner you receive your certificate, and you can start calling yourself a master flexibility trainer, and then you can start taking both your career and your clients' results to the next level. But even though the course lasts 16 weeks, you don't have to complete by the 16th week. It's not a deadline, right? So you can take as long as you need, and you're signing up for a lifetime membership, so you can revisit the material as much as you want to for as long as you want to. Okay. When you graduate from the course, you'll get a hard copy certificate mailed to your home. And these are certificates which are going to be printed by a professional printing company which produces certificates and diplomas for universities. So it's not just going to be some cheap piece of card that I did on my home printer and signed with a Sharpie pen, or a PDF that you have to print off yourself. And since science is always evolving, this course will inevitably evolve with it. So one day the course may not look the same as it does now, and it shouldn't, because our knowledge is always updating. But when you sign up on the course, you get lifetime access to it, so you can retake it whenever it evolves and updates, and you will not be charged a fee to update your knowledge, unlike other courses which insist that you pay full price every time you want to access the material which you've already paid for. and that's a guarantee you get for life. Now, I'm in the process of setting up a private discussion forum which will be hosted on its own website, because social media is very volatile, especially right now, and platforms are constantly changing their terms and conditions, and we would ultimately be held hostage to their policies. But we're going to have our very own community, and the forum is a place where you can engage with that community. You can ask questions, you can answer questions from your fellow trainees and graduates. Remember, you're going to become the expert. And you're also going to get exclusive access to special webinars and presentations that I'll be doing, many of which will dive much deeper into the material on the course. You'll also get a lifetime discount code for any live courses that I run in person, such as hands-on manual therapy skills or assessing biomechanics in Taekwondo, for example. So if you want to attend them, you will always pay less than the full price. Okay, prices. So the early bird offer opens on Monday, 7th of September, and you can pay $997 in full or 3 installments of $400. The early bird offer runs for 1 week only, after which point it goes up to $1,500 in full or 3 installments of $600. And there is a cap to the number of people who can attend this course. You know, I actually care about teaching quality, so I'm not going to be trying to cram as many people as possible onto the course, and spaces are already filling up and filling up fast because there's been a huge response from the people who registered their interest early. Now, if you want to book your spot on the course, send me an email, dan@flexibilityresearch.com. Let me know you want to get in on it and we can make the arrangements. But if you're going to do it, you're going to have to act fast, because the next intake is not starting for another 4 months after this one. Now, if you own a facility or you know someone who wants to do the course as well, I'm offering a 50% associate discount where one of you pays in full and the other pays half. So if you split the cost between you, you both essentially pay 75%. And itchy nose. That 50% discount applies to every additional person who joins you on the course. So if there are a few of you, it works out to be much better value for all of you. Again, if you want to get in on it, send me an email as soon as you can to dan@flexibilityresearch.com. It's first come, first serve basis, and I hope to see you on the course. That's it for this video. Like I said, I really hope I see you on the course, because I'm so excited to be launching it and teaching people how to become the very best flexibility coaches in the world. In case you couldn't tell, I absolutely love flexibility. I've taught it all over the world for decades, and I can't wait to share my passion with you. Let's shape the future of flexibility education together. Until next time, stay safe and stay flexible.